So this video is going to be all about helping you figure out how to feel enough and feel confident with who you are within your relationship. Now, I'm going to talk about the behavior of your partner, his behavior, what it is that he might be doing or saying, the results of this and how this makes you feel. I'm going to talk about how that then creates a behavioral change in you, and again how that then makes you feel, and then what is going to help you, the solution, so some tips that are going to help you start to change that, so you start to feel confident enough within your relationship and with who you are. So I'm going to go on for my experience first of all. When I first met my boyfriend, he had this idea of what a girlfriend should be, which we laugh about now. But he had this whole idea, this whole vision. And so he would often tell me that I wasn't good enough in something, or he would often give me negative criticisms about myself. You know, he would call me things. So lazy was one of them. And which is quite ironic because I used to wake up later, say 10 o'clock. And now I'm like up, literally if I'm not up before 7, I've got anxiety. But he used to say, call me lazy, call me inconsiderate at times. He would tell me like just other little things that I was selfish. So he would tell me these things. And at first I was kind of a bit like, oh, you know, what you want about? But I'd just come out of a previous relationship. And so I had a lot of guilt and blame, which is kind of a whole other story for another day and another video. So I started to take these criticisms on. And now the thing is this is because he had an expectancy on what I should be. And this is the whole point. So if your boyfriend is telling you these things that you should be, or telling you the things that you shouldn't be doing, maybe he's saying to you, you know, you need to think like this, or you need to behave like that, or, you know, you shouldn't have done that. If there's a lot of that, this is kind of the behavior that I'm on about. And he could often make me feel like I was wrong. So again, if any of this resonates with you, give me a little thumbs up. Tell me, yeah, I've been there. Because with him, it would be very black and white. So he had this expectation of what I would be, and if I wasn't fulfilling that, then I was wrong. So what that then does is it kind of, it creates a whole power shift. And this is exactly what happens. But there'll also be a lot of, he would compare me to, you know, other people's girlfriends, or to what he would do. And again, this is called projection, ladies, which I'm going to do another video on separately. Again, videos on all sorts. But he would say to me, you know, well, I would do this, I wouldn't do that, or I wouldn't have said that, or I would have done this. So again, making me feel like, oh, well, I'm wrong then because he wouldn't have done that. And so this is the kind of behavior that I'm on about. So if your partner is doing this, and it might not even be that they mean it because they don't understand themselves, or they don't realize it, or maybe they do. The point is you need to be aware of that behavior. So if your partner giving you these negative criticisms, of your partner telling you what you should be or what you shouldn't be, or how you should have behaved or how you shouldn't have behaved, all of those things are because he has an expectancy of who you should be. And ultimately what that does, if you keep seeing me looking down, I've got notes because I will go off on a tangent and just spill. So I've got some notes so that I don't. But what that does then is it then makes you start to feel like I said, like you're wrong, or like there's something wrong with you because you're not living up to this expectation that he has. So you then start to question yourself. You'll start to have a lot of self-doubt. So if you find yourself, you know, questioning your behavior, questioning the way that you're thinking, it might be that you've done something, and then before you never would have thought anything like that, but now you're going, oh God, should I have done that? Is that right? Is that wrong? So it starts to make you feel really unsure of yourself. A lot of questioning, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of feelings then of inadequacy, because like I said, he's making you feel like there is something wrong with you because you're not matching up to what he wants, to what his expectations are. So you'll have those feelings going around. And that's really what kind of happened to me. I really started to feel a bit like, oh God, like, what's wrong with me? You know, oh, why am I not a considerate girlfriend? Why am I not this? There's something wrong with me. It's all me. And then what that can then create is you start going down that rabbit hole of, oh, well, if there's something wrong with me, will anyone else ever like me? Tell me if you've ever had those thoughts. If you're in an unhappy place in your relationship, God, will I ever find anybody else? Will anyone else ever like me then? If there's something wrong with me, if there's all of these things that my partner's telling me, how will I ever find somebody else? Those thoughts crop up and start to, again, make you feel like you're never going to be good enough for anybody. That's a deep thought there. That one needs to go. But if you resonate with that, it's no wonder, because you're being told these things about yourself because you're not living up to what somebody else's expectancy is of you. You'll have all this confusion and that feeling of I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough for my partner. I'm not a nice person, perhaps. I'm not a good person, depending on what they're telling you. So from his behavior and the way that he's acting towards you, you start to create all of these feelings around yourself. Really that unsure questioning of yourself, your character, and who you are. And from that place, what starts to happen, or what happened with me, is I began to try and please my partner. So if you find yourself doing this, ladies, it's all of a sudden you're in it. It was for me. I was trying to prove myself constantly, prove myself that I wasn't inconsiderate, prove that I wasn't selfish. So what happens then is your actions become based on your partner. Your actions, they're no longer aligned to you. They're aligned to your partner, to what you think you need to do for your partner to accept you, for you to be good enough for your partner. So you're totally out of alignment with yourself, with who you are. You start trying to please them. You start trying to prove yourself to them. And this is where you get lost. This is where I totally lost myself, because in trying to prove that I was good enough, that I was all of these things, I wasn't being true to myself. And if you're not being true to yourself, ladies, you're going to lose yourself, your identity and who you are, because everything that you are is you. You can't pretend. And whilst you're trying to please somebody else, you're playing pretend. You're not thinking about yourself, your own interests, and what is right and what is good for you. So this is where you get lost. And I got lost. I kind of, after a year, if you've read my blog, I just hit this point and I was a bit like, who am I? Who am I anymore? I don't know. I don't have an opinion perhaps anymore. I don't know, because I'm questioning my opinion. I'm questioning my thoughts. All of that. You feel like, because you've created so much self-doubt, you've lost your own identity and you don't trust yourself anymore. You don't trust your own judgment. Can I like that picture? Can I say that to that person? Can I do this? Can I go there? You start, because you've got all of that questioning, you've lost that self-trust, and you're listening to your partner and everything that your partner's telling you. And again, you've got this imbalance, because the more you start to question yourself, the more you kind of go down with your own your own sense of judgment, your own self-trust, and the more your partner gets this power, because he's constantly feeling like, yeah, I'm right, because you believe that you're wrong. So there's a real imbalance there of power. And like I say, you will just lose the woman that you were, the woman that you was, which is exactly what I done, because you've been trying to show up to prove to be somebody else that your partner wants you to be. And at that point, you just reach all of those feelings of, you've lost your self-respect, you've lost your sense of self-worth, your value, like I said, you've lost your identity. You don't even know what's right for you anymore. Yeah, that's the place where you kind of need to get out of the pattern, because that had to happen to me. When you hit that point of just, you feel like you're so tired. It is draining trying to show up as somebody that you're not. It's tiring, right? If that's what you're doing, it's like it's constantly a work trying to change every week to be what you think that you need to be, who you think you need to be, to behave in a way that you think that you need to behave. It's tiring, ladies, Jesus, because you're constantly thinking, constantly second guessing, doubting yourself, judging yourself. You're going through all of those things. So when you hit that point, or somebody's just come on, who has come on? Give me a wave, say hello. Alex, hello, gorgeous girl. Give me a wave, let me know you can hear me. So when you hit that point of just hopelessness, which is what I hear. I just kind of had that wake-up call, ladies, and that is the point that you kind of need to get to if you want to break that pattern. I just realized I was lost. I didn't know who I was anymore, and I thought, this needs to change. And that's when I realized it's not about changing yourself. It's never about changing yourself for somebody else. You only ever change yourself for you. Because at the end of the day, you know who you are, you know what serves you, you know what works for you, you know what makes you happy. You've got to accept yourself before you can expect somebody else to accept you. If they don't accept you, you've got to be okay with that. But you've got to accept everything that you are and yourself first to be okay with saying, okay, this doesn't work for me. Yeah? So, just let me have a little sip of water because I know I talk quickly as well. So, I think I just spilled that. Once you hit that place, rock bottom, that hopeless feeling of just feeling drained and tired, that's when you know it's time for a solution. There's no point in you keep trying to be this other person because it's never, ever, ever going to make you happy. And the first thing that I want you to realize, ladies, is you've got to let go of his expectations. So you need to realize that this isn't your shit, it's his. Yep. He has this expectation of what you should be, and you're never ever going to live up to it because it's not your expectation. You can only ever be who you are. So you've got to knock your boyfriend, your partner, your husband, whatever, off that pedestal straight away. He is not right. All it is his opinions. When you realize that these are his opinions on you, this is what he thinks you're doing, you're not doing, this is what he thinks you should be. It's his opinions. Time to let them go. Yes. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're wrong. It doesn't mean that you should be behaving like that. It's time for you to ask yourself, what do I think? What are my opinions on myself? This is how you're going to start to get back in touch with who you are and start to feel confident with how you're showing up and who you are within your relationship. So ask yourself, okay, he thinks that let's say I'm selfish. Do I think that I'm selfish? Where is the evidence for me that shows me that I think that I'm selfish? Now, I'm not saying that there might be some elements of truth or, that you're absolutely perfect, because nobody is perfect. That's the point that I want to make. Nobody's perfect. And there might be some things that you need to change in order for you to be a better person, for you to show up as a better girlfriend, as a better wife, as a better woman. But the point is it has to be your choice, not because somebody else is telling you it. So if you can look at that and go, okay, do I think that I'm selfish? Okay, maybe I feel like I'm a little bit selfish here. Actually, I want to change that to be a better person for me, for my boyfriend, or for my next partner, for whoever. Then that's where you make the changes. If you look and you go, I actually don't think that I am, then you don't need to change. It's up to you to be okay with who you are, your opinion of yourself. So that's the first thing that I want you to do, is to realize that all your boyfriend is doing is giving his opinion on you. And that is for you to take it or leave it. Create your own opinion of yourself and ask yourself, what do I think about myself? Do I think that I need to change that? And if you do, then change it for you. And if you don't, then you let it go, because you are enough as you are. If you believe it, you are enough. You always have been. So that's the first thing that I want to say to you. Look back at your own opinions of yourself. That's where you're going to start to find yourself, find that confidence to trust who you are within your relationship. Secondly, I want you to have a look at, where am I? Yes, again, back to that self-trust thing. Stop trying to please him and convince him that you are enough. You've got to trust in yourself. Set your own expectations, ladies, of who you want to be. Who do you want to be in your relationship? How do you want to show up? What does it mean for you to be a good wife, a good partner, a good woman? What does it mean for you? Because he's got this whole heap of expectations on what you should be, but you need to create your own and live up to them. So they might not match, but that's okay, because like I say, it has to be your expectations of who you want to be and how you want to show up, which leads nicely into the next thing, your values. When you know what you value, then you can show up being who you are. It's really, really important to know what your biggest values are. You know, mine is to be able to be accepted as I am. If you can't accept me, then it's a non-negotiable. Out. See you later. Which is why I had so many issues within my relationship. Because my biggest thing is, one of my biggest values is you need to accept all of me, all of the imperfections, because there are a lot, all of the issues. You take it or you leave it. If you don't like it, then fine. You're not for me. I'm not going to be made to feel like there's something wrong with me or that I'm a bad person. You take it, you leave it. But you will have your non-negotiables, which is all another video. But you've got to be clear on what your values are for you, what is important to you. So when you know that, again, you set your own expectations of how you want to show up, who you want to be as a woman and as a girlfriend, and then you stand confidently with that. You own who you are. You know that you're enough because you're confident with your values. You're confident with your own expectations. So that's the other two. Figure out your opinion of yourself. Set your own expectations of who you want to be as a woman, as a girlfriend, as a wife. And what was the other one that I said? I've forgotten it, but it's in there. I've had a blank. It happens. This is why I have to write notes, because I waffle. Thirdly, get the support, or fourthly, fifthly, get the support that you need. If you're really struggling, go to friends that you trust, family members that you trust, and say to them, you know, do you think that I'm selfish? Do you think what is your opinion on this? Remember, again, it's only their opinion. Yeah, but if you feel like you've really lost yourself, go to those people that you trust that are going to help you, that love you enough, that have your best interests at heart to give you an honest opinion. You know, they might say, you know, I don't know what you're on about. Not at all. Yeah, because that's going to help you as well. So they are all of my tips there to help you get back in touch with feeling confident with who you are in your relationship, with knowing that you are enough. And honestly, when you learn to believe that, ladies, it gives you so much power within your relationship, because that's exactly what happened for me. I got to a point where I went, I am done with trying to be somebody else that I'm not, with trying to prove myself, with trying to live up to all of these expectations. Actually, they don't work for me. I am not that woman. I don't want to be that woman. I'm never going to be that woman. They don't work for me. However, amongst that, I did realize, actually, I am going to reflect on myself. I am going to reflect on, is there anything that I want to change? Is there anything that I want to develop for me? Because I'd already made that decision that this isn't going to work. But when I go into my next relationship, because yes, there will be somebody else out there for you. There will be somebody that wants you, that you will be the perfect package for. I promise you, because there are over 8 billion people in this world, there is someone else out there for you, if not many, that will love and accept everything about you. All of those things that you think are flawed or that are imperfect, someone will love. But you've got to trust that. You've got to own who you are. You've got to accept all of those things, and you've got to stand up and say, I am enough. And if you don't like this, then that's fine. I do. I'm going to change this for me, not for you, because I want to be a better person, because it's who I want to be, it's how I want to show up. When I did that in my relationship, it had such a huge effect. We basically 180'd. When I stood up for myself, I took back my power and I said, this is me, you take it or you leave it. All of a sudden, my partner, the power kind of came back. My partner realized, actually, you know what? Maybe this is my issues. Yeah, you're right, it is. And let me look into myself. And now it's insane, because we have the most amazing relationship where he accepts me for me. I accept him for him, but at the same time, I was able to work on the things that I wanted to work on for me, to make me a better person for me, not for him. So our relationship totally 180'd the minute I stood up for myself, stood in my power, owned who I was, accepted who I was, and said, you take me or leave me, you accept me as I am or you don't. It really was powerful, and that's what I want you to understand. And if they don't want to accept you as you are, then it's their loss. Let them go. Because the one thing I will tell you, ladies, is the whole time you try to show up or be somebody else, play pretend in your life, you will never ever be happy. You can never be happy trying to be somebody that you're not and trying to please somebody else. That is a fact, because it's not built into who you are. It's not who you were born to be. So on that note, I hope that has helped you. Again, do let me know if you have watched this video on the replay. My lovely ladies that are still here, I think Alex, maybe Becky, I'm not quite sure, I can't see. Let me know if that has helped you. I really hope that it has. If you haven't had a chance, do go and read my blog with all of the other info in there about kind of what happened with me and my lovely hubby now. We are in a very, very good place, but I want to share this stuff because we wasn't. We spent quite a long time going through really big relationship woes, and we had to fight and we had to come out the other side. And this is exactly why I want to help you. So if you are struggling at the moment, if you want some help, you can book a free call with me. We can chat about how we can help you. I would love to support you. But do let me know, again, if you have watched the video and if you have found it helpful. So sending you all lots of love.